Assuming athletes would be nude at modern Olympics, as there were in the ancient times, which discipline would be the most cringy or the most awkward to watch? Men's hurdles, aka rapid testicle smacker. They could cut a little half circle in the top of the beam. Do you think it's fucking easy to get to the Olympics? It takes effort, it takes dedication, it takes sacrifice, and it takes pain. Sounds like we know someone who isn't going for gold. Probably best to just cancel the Winter Olympics entirely. Fencing. Ooh, I have a story. Back in college, a friend and I used to fence épée after classes. Then because we were dorks we'd have these Errol Flynn-esque running sword fights on the way back to our rooms. Now the thing about épée, as opposed to foil or saber, is that the whole body is considered a legit target. Stab his foot? Point. So it teaches you to lunge at areas that would normally be off limits. Maybe you see where this is going. We are being idiots. He's running, I'm chasing. He stops, turns, goes on guard, but it is sloppy, because running around like an idiot. I see an opening, and execute the best lunge of my life directly into his junk. Full extension, sword flexed into a Olympic picture stuff. Now I am expecting to hear the talk of the tip of my épée contacting his protective cup, but that is not what happens. Instead, there is a muted squish, he goes white, and collapses. The moron was not only not wearing a cup, he had neglected to tell me, and I had tagged him full power right in one of his testicles. Missed the frank, got one of the beans, which swelled up to the size of a grapefruit, and he was walking funny for weeks. Oddly, we never resumed after class fencing for idiots. I wonder why? Anything in the Winter Olympics. Curling, not for the reasons others have listed, but because it would go from feeling like the Olympics to a shuffleboard tournament at a nudist resort. Ski jumping. Junk flapping in the wind. Triple jump. Sand. Absolutely. Everywhere. Pairs figure skating. Men's pommel horse. Anything involving horses. I agree that horses are easier to watch when they wear clothes. Undressage. Ice skating or speed skating. One crash and it's bye-bye junk. Everybody here talking about men's giblets in the wind and shit, but have you seen women's titties when they be hustlin'? I think you're all underestimating how fast Olympians move. When in sports bras they move as one, but they don't do that when naked. It won't be very sexy for most sports, I promise you that. Basketball. Whole lot of extra double dribbling would be going on. Dunking on people would have ramifications. Fencing's going to be painful. But the shooting is probably going to be one of those kinks I didn't know I had. Synchronized swimming would just be aquatic vagina presentment. Gymnastics. Did you want to admit to watching a whole bunch of 14 to 17-year-old girls jump around naked? That's how you get on a list. At least most of the other sports involve adults. Just for the record, in ancient Greece women didn't take part in the Olympic naked or at all. They had separated games, honoring Hera instead of Zeus, during which they competed fully clothed. Plap 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 plap. Wrestling. Few months ago we were at an estate sale and they had a foot-tall Greco-Roman style statue with two guys wrestling. But one of the guys had a full handful of the other's cock and balls. It was really something to see. I still regret not buying it. It's a fairly famous statue. The original is in Florence. It's also a fairly popular statue. How does that Wikipedia page not even address the casual cock grab? Why do we have this article if not to address this? From what I understand, the cock grab was an integral part of ancient wrestling. It was, understandably, a massively effective technique. So they probably didn't mention it for the same reason why you wouldn't specifically mention why a baseball player is holding a stick. That's just part of the sport. It happened, and it was legal, but it was an admission by the grabber that they were losing. Especially in this position, the crowd would see it as shameful. King Diomedes was a savage. He enjoyed feeding strangers and prisoners to his mares. They did not like the taste of oats and grain. Instead they feasted on human flesh, which their master gave them willingly. His mares could not be controlled. They were savage, just like the king. They could not be tethered by regular rope. Instead they needed to be tethered to a bronze manger by chains, so they would not escape. Man, those were some dope mares. More like nightmares. Till where wrestling was the no homo of ancient Greece. There was nothing no homo about Greek history. Yeah, no, it wasn't weird to ancient people. Not saying they didn't sexualize human body, I'm sure some did, some didn't. Just they were comfortable with it. It wouldn't take long for wrestling, dongs in the face and all, to seem perfectly normal. I have to give the ancient Greeks extra credit on this one. Back in high school a fight broke out in the locker room after football practice, and let me tell you, fighting another human being while nude is one of the most awkward, terrifying things I've ever been through.